Well, hello and welcome to episode 13 of Restoring the Republic. It has been a crazy busy week in Washington, D.C. There is a lot going on. You've got the debate, you have all the appropriations bills, you have my bill about no juicing Joe, I had another bill on confronting the CCP or China. So let's just jump right into it. And let's talk about how busy it's been. And so we had 3 appropriations bills. So just kind of back up just a little bit. Historically, or Congress is required to pass 12 appropriations bills. And so we did 3, or we're working on 3 this week. And so we had the amendment process. So we have Homeland Security, State and Foreign Operations, and Department of Defense. And I hit 49 pieces of legislation passed this week out of the House of Representatives, had 5 on Homeland Security, 3 on SFOPs, and 2 on Department of Defense. And that's important because it's an opportunity for me as a freshman to make sure that the 5th Congressional District, that the state of Tennessee is heard. I've been a huge critic of China, how they've been undermining our country, our southern border, and I'll jump to that real quick. So I had a bill, Fox had the exclusive, Fox News confronting the CCP on human rights. And the issue with that is that, you have China, who's been a bad actor, and they've been collecting DNA on the Uyghurs and been using that for targeting and all sorts of nefarious stuff. Now, that being said, Biden delisted the scientific wing of their police department. I'll kind of state it simply. In promise, in exchange for that they would help mitigate this flow of precursor chemicals for fentanyl from coming into the country. Well, guess what hasn't happened? They got access to our lab equipment, which is part of the deal, and in return, they have not upheld their end of the deal. And so we continue to see fentanyl flooding our streets, people overdosing in Tennessee and all across the country. And so once again, China has proven to be a bad actor. They undermine us at every turn. They're a state sponsor of terrorism as they support North Korea and Iran and all the other bad actors that are on the State Department's terrorist list. And so it's important that we stand firm, that we stand strong. And the United States of America is the leader of the free world, and we have to take that role and own it. And that means pushing back against the CCP. Unfortunately, Joe Biden has sold us out. Now, we have the debate. Everybody's watching it. I mean, overwhelmingly, the American people plan to watch this debate. They want to see if Joe Biden can perform. They're going to see how Trump handles himself. And so I have this bill called No Juicing Joe, which simply requires that Joe Biden report to Congress and the American people, quite frankly, if he's taking any drugs that address his cognitive decline. Now, we've all seen it. You've seen it. You saw him in Italy at the G7 where he literally wanders off, right? We know that he's on some sort of cocktail. We know that they're having to give him stimulants, and we, the people, deserve to know. Donald Trump agreed to take a drug test. The Biden administration, well, they were mum about that. They refused to give him a cognitive test. Why? Because they know he'll fail. So with that, we have a montage for you talking about Jake Tapper and Bash as the moderator. So here they are, supposed to be non-biased moderators. Let's watch this.
That was the worst debate I have ever seen. In fact, it wasn't even a debate. It was a disgrace. Primarily because of President Trump lying, maliciously attacking the son of the vice president.
You just took the words out of my mouth. You used some high-minded language. I'm just going to say it like it is. That was a shit show.
The president does not think he's going to win this election, and he wants to bring the rest of us down with him.
There's a lot for President Biden to tout. Americans don't seem to be giving him the credit. Why is that, and what does he have to do to turn that around? He certainly met the moment they wanted him to be a fighter. And boy, fight did he deliver. Trump's claim about Biden orchestrating the trial is baseless. Allegations with absolutely no evidence that he was making against President Biden, that he is behind all of the prosecutions. There's no evidence that Joe Biden was involved. There's no evidence, absolutely no evidence that Biden himself was involved.
So, I mean, again, the number 3, the Department of Justice, left the Department of Justice to go prosecute Donald Trump. It was members of the intelligence community that signed the letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real, and they did that to cover for Joe Biden before a debate. You have these two moderators that gush and gush over Joe Biden and criticize Donald Trump. Now, you can like or dislike Donald Trump, but this is not going to be a moderated debate. This is going to be a 3-on-1 debate, Donald Trump versus the moderators and Biden. And I would argue that, now we'll see. We'll see if they got the magic cocktail right. We'll see if Joe Biden got enough rest. We'll see if he's on his game. But I expect to see an animated Joe Biden who you can tell will be on some sort of, again, cocktail. I don't want to say drugs, but on some sort of drug cocktail. And again, I've been with Donald Trump twice in the last few weeks. I can tell you he's in good spirits. He's willing and ready to debate Joe Biden anywhere, anytime. And he's willing and ready to win this election. And so he's in good spirits. He's going to win. He's leading in the polls. We're going to hold the Senate, or win the Senate, and we're going to hold the House. And that being said, that's why we as Republicans are having these conversations, why I'm offering so much legislation, is to have these conversations today, so when we're sworn in January, we're ready to go. That first 100 days, I mean, our nation is facing a crisis, whether it's on foreign policy, whether it's on domestic policy, whether it's southern border. I mean, goodness gracious. You just had a 12-year-old girl who was raped and murdered by 2 illegals who were drunk. You just had a 13-year-old girl and her friend who was also 13 tied up, and they raped a little girl. You just had a 15-year-old in New York, we're just finding out, an illegal from Turkey raped a little girl. Over and over and over. And you see this in Central America. You see this in Africa. You see this in Muslim countries. That's the norm, the assault against women and children. But now because of Joe Biden, and I'll say it again, because of Joe Biden, our southern border is wide open, and he's letting these criminals into our country, and they're assaulting our wives and our daughters. Enough is enough. It's time to hold Joe Biden accountable. It's time to close the border, and it's time to deport these people that came here illegally. End of story. I talked to President Trump about this. He agrees, and we also know that there are terrorists loose in this country. Catch this. Over 300 on the terror watch list. We just got an update that 400 with ISIS affiliations, and one report I saw said it could actually be up to 600 with ISIS affiliations were let loose in this country. So now we're up to almost 600-700 people with ties to terrorism that this administration, not ours, this administration has led into this country. It's a wonder, it's amazing, it's a miracle we haven't had a terrorist attack. So with that, I'm Andy Ogles. I'm Congressman for the Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. It's an honor to serve, it's an honor to fight, and we'll keep fighting for you.